This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Good morning. Good morning. It has been crazy. Yesterday was definitely Friday the 13th for me. Oh my gosh. I got to go to the Verizon store today because my phone just decided out of nowhere it would stop working. It's just been crazy. But did get my information request back on Florida man and woman who let their toddlers run around in traffic covered in feces, buck ass naked. So we can go over that. I'm going to start with what's most important, though, and that is the update on Elijah Vue. So let me bring that up. So it has been confirmed that the remains found in Wisconsin are Elijah Vue. I don't know my thoughts on it because it's by Christina Bauer's house. I'm thinking she put him somewhere where she would always know where he was at, which makes me have a little bit of compassion for her. I don't think she did what was done. I think Jesse Vang did. And I think that, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think that she might have been on drugs or something and thought that this man was going to make her son behave better when he might have been acting out because he wasn't getting enough attention from her because she was on drugs or whatever. She's in jail, so she's gotten off of the drugs, but I do think that she didn't mean for what happened to happen, and she put him where he would be close, because from what I understand, that is her family's house. So for him to be like right there at her family's house, I'm thinking that she put him somewhere where she would always be close to him. That's just my opinion, though. All right, so it says human remains found in Wisconsin confirmed to be Elijah Vue. So we're going to play this. This is from WISN 5, Channel 5.
If you need to sell your house fast, there's no one better to call than WeBuyHouses.com.
Okay, maybe that'll make it stop. I'm good on that. Just trying to pause it. Lordy. Okay, here we go.
Locally owned and operated.
Thanks for joining us. We begin with that breaking news we first brought you about 90 minutes ago. Authorities confirming the skeletal remains found last week near Two Rivers are that of Elijah Vue.
The 30-year-old went missing in February from Two Rivers. An Amber Alert that had been active since that day has now been canceled. Brittany Schmidt has been following this case from the very beginning. She joins us now live.
So this video is from ABC Channel 2, but I think the article is from a Channel 5.
Live from what has now become a death investigation. Brittany.
Bill and Cammie, this is the news that the community was dreading to hear, yet hoping to hear once they learned about the remains being recovered this past weekend, so that the family can get closure, as well as the community, because they've been involved from the very beginning. The Two Rivers Police Department made it a point today to tell the community this next phase of the investigation, from missing person to death investigation, will continue to be top priority for the department. Elijah's remains were found just over 3 miles northwest of where he was first reported missing. It took us about a 4-minute drive to do that distance. Elijah was found by a hunter preparing his private property for the upcoming hunting season. It's near Christy Bob and Manitou Drive. The chief says they've searched the area several times before and actually had another search plan next week in the densely wooded area. This aerial footage shows investigators on scene collecting anything of evidentiary value.
This is not the outcome that we hoped for. The family's devastated. We're devastated. Our community's devastated. I never met Elijah, but I watched that 3-year-old boy bring out the best in this community. I can't thank the public and our businesses enough.
There are still a lot of unanswered questions, the biggest one being, how did Elijah Vue die? The chief did not take questions today, only saying it will take time to process this investigation. The Manitowoc County's district attorney was also in attendance today. They are still asking anyone with any information about what might have led to the death of Elijah Vue to contact them as they continue to investigate it. Reporting live in Two Rivers, Brittany Schmidt, Action 2 News.
Oh, goodness. That was the family, I'm assuming, crying when they found out. So horrible. So they don't have an article for me to read, or I would read it. I hate that for them. Now, let me just add, I mean, she could have put him there because she knew that she could put him there and kind of he wouldn't be found, but I would hope not. I would hope that I like to think that she had some kind of compassion and put him there because that's close to her family's land or house, and she would always be close to him. That's what I'm going to go with personally because it's going to help me sleep better at night. So let's move on to the files I got of old Florida man and woman here. All right. It's taking a second to load. Let me make sure you get it on your screen. Yep. Okay. So this is, I guess, a report. I've got the arrest record. So this is just like saying, I guess, what happened from Sheriff Aiden from the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. So these are the parents. This was September 9th. It's the discovery of a young child running nude in the area of Green Acres Road and Green Acres Boulevard around 9 a.m. yesterday morning ultimately led to the arrest of 2 people on 5 counts of child neglect. Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office deputies spotted the boy running across 4 lanes of traffic and nearly getting hit by vehicles, but were able to get him to safety. Thank God. The child was found to be covered in his own feces. They cleaned him and wrapped him in a towel. Deputies recognized the boy, that tells you a lot right there, and took him to a home on Lost Trail near Fort Walton Beach, where they spotted his sibling, also nude, running around the neighborhood. The second child also had feces on his body. OCSO deputies and an investigator found deplorable conditions throughout the residence, as well as prescription medications within reach of a total of 5 children, all under the age of 12. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office charged 34-year-old Danielle Robertson and 32-year-old Jacob Robertson with 5 counts of child neglect. The Department of Children and Families is also investigating, and that's these 2 right here. Lord have mercy. What is going on in the world today? All right, so I think this one is next. I will share it. Give me 1 second. Maybe. Okay, hold on. I got to share it through StreamYard. Oh, dang it. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on just a minute. Alrighty. I'm going to try to scoot up the personal information. Okay, so this one's for Jacob Allen Robertson from Fort Walton Beach. Oh my goodness. He was arrested at his residence in Okaloosa County at Fort Walton Beach. That was the city. The charge is felony. The arrest offense code is neglect of a child. The general offense code has been completed. The charge description was neglect of a child without great bodily harm. And we will read the report. So this was September 8th at 12:59 p.m. Lord have mercy, you children running around in traffic at 1 o'clock in the daggum afternoon. Okay, the reporting officer was Officer Colonia, and it gives us the case number and all that, so we can follow up with that. Okay, On September 8th, the defendant, Jacob Robertson, committed the offense of child neglect against victims, and it says that, which occurred at their residence at Fort Walton Beach, Florida, at around 11:35 hours. Okay, well, still pretty bad, but Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office communications began receiving calls from multiple people regarding a nude child running in the area of Green Acres Road and Green Acres Boulevard in Fort Walton Beach. Deputies safely recovered the juvenile and took him, also nude, running in the neighborhood. Okay, so deputies safely recovered the juvenile and took him and another one, also running nude, in the neighborhood. Once both were safely recovered, and co-defendant Daniel Robertson allowed deputies inside the home, and it was found in extremely deplorable conditions. I was summoned to the scene as the on-call CID investigator. I observed feces on the floor and walls throughout the residence, as well as unknown liquids on the floor, some of which appeared to be dog urine. The odor of urine and feces was prevalent throughout the residence. Broken electrical outlets were on the walls, easily accessible by children, as well as prescription medications that were within reach of the children. At one point in the investigation, Blank grabbed a package of a Prolozam, which is like Klonopin, Xanax, things like that, not in child-safe packaging, and was playing with it. 4 of the 5 children were not wearing shoes and were walking around in the substances described above. Feces was observed on one of the kids' bodies and buttocks. I think it was both of them, but the defendant arrived back on scene around 13:05 hours from playing paintball. So he got there at 1:05. He was playing paintball while his kids are. So you got money to go play paintball, but you damn can't clean up. Lord, heaven above. During an interview with him, he initially said he had only been gone for about an hour and a half, and the house was not in that condition when he left. Sir, you're lying. However, he later said he did leave around 8 o'clock. He said the co-defendant seemed fine when he left. However, she was falling in and out of sleep while standing, sitting, and in mid-conversation throughout the investigation. The defendant said the downstairs portion of the home was not that dirty when he left. He said the children were not supposed to be upstairs where there was feces and urine covering the floor. However, the children kept going up the stairs throughout the investigation and walking on those floors as well. I spoke with, redacted, was the only child wearing shoes and fully clothed. He told me he wears shoes in the house so that he does not have to step on the dirty floors. Based on the severe conditions of the home, it was very clear that the home had been in this condition for some time. The defendant confirmed that he did live there, and though he did not work each weekday, he was in the house every day and night when not at work. It was clear that the defendant, as well as the co-defendant, did not provide adequate care at the home and keep it in a safe. Give me just a second. I've got a situation. Okay, just children playing. I thought somebody got hurt. Okay, so he was at the house every day and night when not at work. It was clear that the defendant, as well as the co-defendant, did not provide adequate care at the home and kept it in safe condition for the children. Based on the totality of my investigation and on the information above, I have probable cause to Lord. And it doesn't say. That's just other information. So let's get out of that real quick. And I closed out of my file, so let me open that back up so we can read Miss Dang's arrest record. She seems to be on some drugs from what I can tell. I think we've all had a past with things, but when you're standing up and falling asleep when you're talking, you're on a lot of a Prolozam and probably some other things too. I'm not judging. I hope she gets the help that she needs. I want to make that clear. Okay, so this is the second, let's see. This is the same officer, Officer Colonna, and I'm assuming this is for the female, Danielle. On September 8, 2024, the defendant, Danielle Robertson, committed the offense of child neglect and against the victims, and it redacts that. This occurred at redacted Fort Walton Beach, Florida. At around 11:35 hours, Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office communications began receiving calls from multiple people regarding a nude child running around Green Acres Road and Green Acres Boulevard, Fort Walton Beach. Deputies arrived in the area and observed a blank running across 4 lanes of traffic and nearly getting hit by vehicles. The child was safely recovered and was found to be nude and covered in his own feces. Thank God it wasn't the dog feces. Deputies recognized the child from prior incidents. Here's your sign. At the above listed address and took him back home. Once there, another child was found running around the neighborhood nude. Once both were safely recovered, they made contact with the defendant, who was unaware that blank had left the home. Of note, the location of Green Acres Road and Green Acres Boulevard is about half a mile away from the residence, good Lord in heaven above. That child has done traveled half a mile away, covered in poo, naked as the day he's born, running in traffic. Half a damn mile. Like, it takes, Lord, it takes me half a mile, 30 minutes to walk half a mile, at least, and I walk fast. Honey, when I'm walking, I like to walk. I walk every day, but like, I walk like I'm on a mission. I just walk fast, and it still takes me a good minute to walk half a mile. I don't know if it's about 30 minutes, but it's a good minute, and I'm walking like I'm on a mission, sweetheart. Goodness. So the children were found inside, or somebody were found inside and living in deplorable conditions. I was requested to respond to the scene as the on-call CID investigator based on the severity of the conditions of the home. I observed feces on the floor and walls throughout the residence, as well as unknown liquids on the floor, some of which appeared to be dog urine. The odor of dog urine, let me make sure y'all can see this because I've done that before. Okay. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong one. Okay. The odor of dog urine and feces was prevalent throughout the residence. Broken electrical outlets were on the walls, easily accessible by children, as well as prescription medications that were in reach of the children. At one point in the investigation, one of the children grabbed a package of a Prolazam, not in child-safe packaging, and was playing with it. 4 of the 5 children were not wearing any shoes and were walking around in the substances described above. Feces was observed on the 2 or 1 of the children that were running around in traffic's body and buttocks. While the investigation took place, the defendant was continuously falling in and out of sleep while standing and sitting, even in mid-conversation. I mean, I'm going to tell y'all, that's more than likely, in my opinion, fentanyl or heroin. It appeared that she was under the influence of an unknown substance and or had not slept in some time. She was alone with the children while her husband, co-defendant Jacob Robertson, was playing paintball. He arrived back on the scene at about 13:05 hours while deputies were on the scene. The defendant said she was unaware of one of the children leaving the home and said the door must have been left unsecured when old Jacob there left the house without her knowledge. She claimed, oh, it might have been one of the kids. The door must have been left unsecure when one of the kids maybe left the house without her knowledge. She claimed that she had been washing one of the children in the bathroom, and that's why she did not hear anyone leave or deputies knocking on the door. A check of the bathtub revealed it was dry, and none of the children were wet as if they had been bathed. So this part was redacted. Was the only child wearing shoes and fully clothed. He told me he wears shoes in the house so that he does not have to step on the dirty floors. Based on the totality of the information and my investigation, I have probable cause to believe the defendant violated this statute, neglect of a child without great bodily harm. And I think the rest of this is just, the arrest records. So that's what I was able to get on that. I will be continuing to follow up on that case. That's just wow. We'll go ahead and get into Jen Soto's. I thought it was Jen Soto's new interview, but I'm guessing it's the roommate. I do want to say that this is fair use. I'm using this as fair use to give my opinion and educational opinion on this video. This is the Docket. Please subscribe to this person's channel. Give him a like. All of the things. I know he bought this because I did check my records when he said he bought it. And I was like, because I didn't believe it. I'll be honest. But I did check my records and everything I have and everything I've even recently submitted, and I do not have it. So I believe he did actually purchase this and spend a lot of money on it. So again, please give him a like and subscribe. I'm going to try not to just, go straight through it, but I want to play the whole interview and give my opinion on it. But I do highly advise you to go watch the whole interview and his whole live that he did on this.
Stephen Stern, Jennifer Soto. How is everybody doing?
All right, I'm going to try to skip it a little bit and see where we are.
I mean, it was wow.
Para la habilidad de usted.
And what's your last name?
I don't know what is in English, but
Okay, so these people are going to speak their original language is going to be Spanish, so we're going to have to work together to understand it. And we'll go from there. I think this is the roommate.
but negro in Spanish.
El apellido
Nigro.
Nigro.
So they've just started this interview. They're giving their names.
Okay.
Mhm.
Entonces, her last name is pronounced Negro. It's Negro.
Okay. And your birthday?
May 14.
Hand?
Antes que nosotros comenzamos, ¿puedes levantar tu mano derecha?
Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, to the best of your knowledge, so help you God?
Las preguntas que te vamos a hacer.
Okay, so I see people saying, did she just say, yes, she did. But if you were to say black in Spanish is pronounced what they did and what they said, and it's spelled Negro. That's the word black in Spanish. They're talking about their last name. They're not talking about anything nefarious or any kind of racist things. That's just how you say it in Spanish. I haven't taken Spanish in a long time, since I was in college, so that's been a long time. I'm not even going to try to roll my R's and pronounce it the right way right now. But if you look it up, that's how you say it.
Tú prometes que vas a decir la verdad y solamente la verdad para las preguntas que te vamos a hacer contra las leyes de los Estados Unidos y lo que te vamos a preguntar.
Sí, no
Para,
Okay, I know Jennifer Soto talks in this, so I'm going to skip it. If you want to hear what that person says, I'm going to ask you to go check him out. I think we deserve that. I'll probably go back and listen to what the roommate said. But I do know that Jennifer Soto talks in this because I heard her talking. So I'm going to try to move it to that part so we can hear what Jennifer Soto has to say. And I'm going to ask you to go watch what the roommates have to say on his channel, because I think he deserves that since he bought this information. So I'm going to skip through right now and try to get to where Jennifer Soto speaks. Also, I didn't say it, but look at that baby. She's so precious. And you can see how happy she is here. That's obviously before all the things started happening.
para la habilidad de usted.
Okay. How long has she known Stephen?
¿Cuánto rato tú has?
Que ellos ya casi no tenían relación.
So she's saying that.
Again, please go watch his video if you want to hear what the.
Como que yo pongo el teléfono, como que suena así.
Y
Y yo
Ah,
estaba
yeah.
pendiente.
So she says
I mean, how dismembered or anything like that. So I'm not sure. We know that wasn't going on.
Did
Estaba lavando ropa también.
he wasn't? Did they say anything to you about her?
Apenas entré. Estoy enterando de toda la situación.
so
Again, I'm skipping through this because I know Jen Soto speaks, and that's what I put on my thumbnail. And I'm going to ask that you go give the Docket a follow and like and subscribe and check out his video to hear what the roommate has to say. I think he deserves that.
This is her
How old?
¿Cuántos años?
Esta nene.
put the roommate's name on there. I'm tired. 1,000 apologies.
What I was telling her was, just rest assured that we're doing our job to make sure that Steven is in jail. Our biggest concern is to find Maddie. Sobre de esta investigación.
Ok. Y otra.
Supporting the channel, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. I want to
Yeah, I can't afford YouTube Premium. So we're just going to deal with that.
I want to thank Plunder and Gray Hughes Investigates.
Upstairs.
Pero normalmente cuando yo llego a esa hora todos están durmiendo. Yo escuchaba, sí, yo escuché, desde que llegué yo escuchaba sonidos.
I know.
Abría la puerta, pero la volví a dejar así. O sea, yo no.
Okay. Did she ever say why they would do that?
What a response is.
Como de su relación sexual, que no era paquete y abría la puerta a ver si lo recibía, si venía.
Oh, sorry.
Or do you think that's somebody coming up and down the stairs?
Que suena, se lo identificó como
Might just be a ring.
cuando usted llegó esa noche.
So go see what the roommate says. Check out. What is the one I picked there? Let me pull up his page again. Please give him a like and subscribe. There it is. So to go hear what the roommate had to say, go check out his page for newly purchased audio of Jennifer Soto's roommate Angelica. This is the one of Jennifer Soto I want to go over. Okay.
Here, puppy, let's go. And trying to leash him up. I got up off the bed at that moment.
We'll talk about it.
So he's going to go over this. People are talking about what she's holding. That I certainly hope that's not what that is, what they're saying it is. It could be like, like if you get a pair of earrings or a necklace or something, maybe it's something to that effect. That's what I thought when I saw it, but my mind goes to that's not a child holding a sex toy. I mean, that's where my mind goes. So it could be, but my mind, I'm like, there's no way that a child would be holding a toy like that. That's not where my mind goes. My mind was like, okay, what is it? Oh, maybe it's one of the jewelry things that you would get earrings or something like that on. So anyway, again, this is the Docket. Please go check out his video with the roommate. I'm sure there's lots of contextual clues in there. I don't have this audio. I've checked for this audio. So we're going to go through what Jennifer Soto has to say, and this is fair use, and I'm going to add my educational opinion to this.
It is the very beginning is a lot of sexual stuff.
He does try to prepare us for what's going to be heard. I made it full screen so we can see the pictures in full screen. If you're nosy and want to see what all the chat's saying, again, go check out his video. Trying to leave things so that you go check him out and give him a subscribe, because he's the one that got this out. And in my opinion, that I know of, I surely do not have money to pay for that. So,
And so just be aware. Just be aware.
Is February 29th, 2024. Time is 5:09 p.m. We are at 4012 Santa Maria Drive. In reference to case number 24001809. It's myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and Jennifer Soto. So, to give you a little bit of what's happening now, there's a few other additional pieces of evidence that we're collecting at the time. Okay. Some of that evidence came from Stefan's phone. Okay. Some of the pictures that were on the phone. Okay. That we've identified belonging to Maddie as well. So clothing that she was wearing, that sort of stuff. Okay. That's what we're collecting.
Okay. Plunder is a great site. She's actually one of the first I subscribed to on my normal channel. I want to ask you to go give her a like and subscribe as well. I'll probably end up borrowing some of her stuff too, but she's really great. They get a lot of information, like the Docket and Plunder and things. SF Investigates. They get information pretty quickly. There's another one too, where it's like 2 officers retired from New York. That might be this one, but I am just starting. So while I'll submit a FOIA request in a daggum heartbeat, I'm not able to get some of the stuff that they get. I don't know how they get it. I'm sure they're not going to share with me how they get it, but once I figure that out, I'll be trying to do that and get stuff out here as soon as possible, like they do. My channel is just getting started. Once, I know that it's going to take off and I have subscribers, and, all I ask for is subscribers and things. If I know enough people are watching my videos to where it is justifiable to spend extra money on things, then I'll do that. But right now, my channel is just too small for me to justify putting money into things like that. I gotta know that people care what I have to say about things and are interested in it enough before I'm going to go and spend that extra money to buy the things like they do. When they, like this, newly purchased, never before heard audio. Once I get, enough subscribers and I know that people want to hear what I have to say enough, I'll start doing stuff like that. But right now, I'm just a little baby over here, so we're just going to roll with what I've got. Okay.
Okay. We will leave.
Let me just say, and I'll back it up a little bit, that was not the response I would expect for her to hear from her when they're telling her they got pictures of Maddie. Like, unless she doesn't know that they're that kind of picture, maybe, but I would expect her to have a little bit of a different reaction unless she already knew.
Because you didn't. Anyway, let's get started with it, and we'll talk about it. It is the very beginning is a lot of sexual stuff, and
in reference to case number 24001809. It's myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and Jennifer Soto. So, to give you a little bit of what's happening now, there's a few other additional pieces of evidence that we're collecting at the time. Okay. Some of that evidence came from Stefan's phone. Okay. Some of the pictures that were on the phone. Okay. That we've identified belonging to Maddie as well. So clothing that she was wearing, that sort of stuff. Okay. That's what we're collecting. Okay. Okay. We will leave you an evidence sheet to let you know what we took everything that we've taken from the house is in an evidence sheet that's going to be left here for you. Okay. It may take them a little bit because what they do is they take a picture of it.
So sometimes I wonder about Jen Soto, if she's like slow to kind of catch on to things or something. Did she just think that they're taking pictures of Maddie from like school pictures that he had on his phone? Or, was she really not there enough to realize that they're trying to tell her they're taking that kind of picture? Like, clothing that she was wearing when she was, unfortunately, when he did what he did to her. Does she not realize that that's what they're talking about? Or is she trying to play it off like she didn't know, but she really did? Or is she just that apathetic about what was going on between Maddie and Steven? Well, let me rephrase that. Is she just that apathetic about what this monstrous predator was doing to her child? Like, I got questions.
Of it, they collect it. Go to the next one, take a picture of it, collect it. So it'll be a little bit, but it shouldn't be too long. Okay, so we spoke yesterday, and we've got a little bit more information since the last time we spoke. Last night, I guess it would be. So I'm going to ask you to go through this again. Monday morning, when you were asleep, Stefan and Maddie were upstairs, and she's going to school. Run me through that morning again.
Okay, that just got that loud. I didn't do that. I'm going to try to turn it down just a little bit and then turn it up when we need to hear it. I don't want to blow your eardrums.
You mentioned something about you hearing noises, and then you woke up. So how?
Monday morning, I was woken up by Stephen Stearns coming into my bedroom to try to put the leash on the dog. He was saying, "Here, puppy, let's go," and trying to leash him up. I got up off the bed at that moment because my dog has a tendency to pee a little bit when you're too direct and you put a leash on him. You have to like talk to him nicely and yeah. He got the leash on the dog and told me, "Okay, don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep." And I said, "Okay." So I went back to sleep.
Okay, so that right there tells me that by her saying the dog has a tendency to pee a little bit when you're too direct. So I got up off the bed to put the leash on the dog. That lets me know that Stephen Stearns was more than likely stressed out and frustrated and already, we know what happened. So that had probably already happened. And he was agitated, aggravated, ill. And he was being ill with the dog. And so she got up because she didn't want the dog to pee, because she knows that he does that when he's getting, when you're not talking nice to him and putting the leash on him in a non-aggressive manner. That lets me know that Stephen Stearns was probably being aggressive that morning. And she wanted to make sure to put the leash on the dog before the dog urinated because of his aggressions. In my opinion, let me go ahead and add that banner real quick. Everything that I state on this channel, unless I'm reading a police report like I just did before this segment, is my opinion. And like I've said in the beginning, and is my banner on YouTube, this is all just speculation. Okay, I was not there. I do not know. I did not see. Please do your own research. Formulate your own opinions. Thank you. Thank you.
I think this was around, I'm assuming this was around 8 o'clock in the morning, because I'm assuming, he's getting ready to take her to school. He's walking the dog before he does that. Yeah. So I'm not sure what time it was, but I think it was around 8 o'clock in the morning when this happened.
Okay.
I thought I had heard somebody in the kitchen. I don't know who it could be. But yeah, I just heard sounds, but I'm not sure who it was. Who was in the kitchen? Could have been Stefan, could have been Maddie.
Okay.
Could have been one of my roommates.
When the deputies first talked to you, when you're reporting her missing,
Yeah.
you remember writing a statement?
Yes.
Okay. in that statement, you say you saw Maddie.
I saw. I know. I misremembered. I did.
Okay, no, you lied. You didn't misremember. You lied.
Didn't see her.
I agree.
I wanted to believe
I agree with him 100%. You're not going to say that you saw your child getting ready that morning and then all of a sudden you misremembered. No, either you saw her or you didn't. I mean, like he just said, no ma'am, no ma'am. You lied. You lied. Straight out. There is no other qualms about it. You fucking lied. Either you saw your child or you didn't. And you're going to remember, just like I talk about with Sebastian Rogers, you're going to remember everything that happened today. You're going to replay it through your head. And you're going to say, did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? Was there something that she said? Was there something that she did that could give me some kind of idea where my child could be that's now missing? Did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? Did they say something? When your child goes missing, you're going to be replaying that day second by second through your head all day, every day until your child is found. Unless you already knew what happened to your child. You're not going to lie and say you saw your child. No, I didn't see my child that morning. He took her to school. You knew whether you saw her or not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I saw her, but I didn't.
But when you're talking to the deputy on his body cam, you describe what she's wearing.
Because she had picked it out the night before.
Okay.
And you can tell right there where he clicks and is like, okay. He knows that she's lying. Maybe she did pick her clothes out the night before, but you're not going to say I saw my child and she was wearing and describe the clothes that she was wearing knowing damn well you didn't see her. You fucking lied. Like, you don't know if your child got up and said, I don't want to wear that today. I know I laid it out last night. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow. I'm going to wear something else. That's possible. Happens all the time with children. No. And you can tell the officer is getting frustrated. No, ma'am. Nobody's believing your bullshit. And like, how are we supposed to believe that you had no idea what happened to her that night and you had no idea that all of this shit was going on when you keep getting busted lying? No, ma'am.
I told her to set up her clothes the night before to have it ready, so she was ready to go.
Did you do a interview with Fox 35 recently?
No, he moves right on from that.
Yes.
He knows she's lying.
In that interview, you say something to the effect that you don't want her to come home.
Now, does anybody remember that being said in that interview? Did she say that she didn't want Maddie to come home?
I don't remember hearing that. I don't. I need to go back and play it and see.
I didn't either. And she's kind of taken aback by it.
Do you remember that?
No. Why would I say that?
I don't know. That's part of the interview.
Maybe
I don't know if you listened to it or if you saw it.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. Maybe when we're done with this, you can Google it and see.
That bothers me. I'm gonna have to Google that and see. But this is already a long interview, so and I'm wondering if like none of us remember hearing that, because that's something the true crime community would have picked up on. I'm wondering if they cut it from the interview, and like, because he's the police, he has, the full interview or the transcript or whatnot. I don't know. I will look into that and see if I can maybe leave a community post or something to that effect stating if I found it or not. But and I might have time to try to find it now, but I don't want to be listening to that interview while listening to this. I might see if I can pull it up and we can listen to it real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and I'll see what I can find.
See if you misspoke or...
I must have misspoken because that's not... I remember recalling asking her to come home. Please come home. We miss you. I want you here. Like, please be safe. I remember saying that.
Okay. All right, I want to touch a little bit more, or go more in depth on the relationship that you have with Stefan.
Okay, now they're going to get into some, I don't know, some graphic stuff. I mean, it's not extremely graphic, but it is about their sex life and the problems with it. So just so you know, and you're prepared for it.
I'm going to ask you.
Back when I went to art
please,
school in 1991, it took me 4
Please take heed to his warning there. If that kind of stuff is going to bother you, and he's not talking about that. I only heard, I think it was that part right there. But I think he's talking about Jennifer and Stefan's sex life, not the other. But if that's going to bother you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to exit stage left and come back at another time, and move on. I think it is pertinent to this case simply because of what was done to this child. So again, take heed to his warning, and if it's going to bother you, feel free to exit stage left.
It's about to begin.
Now, you said you guys have been dating for a while, and then you kind of broke up, and it's been on and off for a few years, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah.
During that time, was he seeing anybody else?
I was told at one point sometime last year that, hey, the girl I was hanging out with, one of my coworkers I was hanging out with outside of work, who I said I was hanging out with, I was really having sex with her. Because I asked him, I'm like, did you have sex with her? Like, because you told me you were just hanging out. Did you have sex with her? And he admitted that he did.
And
Okay, we're going to pause that right here. I'm going to Fox 35 original interview. This is from Fox 35 Orlando, and we're going to see if she says she did not want Maddie to come home. This is Maddie. It says it's a full interview, so I'm just waiting for it to load. So we can see Mr. Stearns back here.
Jen, go ahead and tell us.
Okay. So while we listen for her to say that she doesn't want Maddie to come home, if that's indeed what she said, we can also look at Mr. Stearns over here, and when he comes on screen, and evaluate his opinion. I'm not going to go through his whole interview, but we can look at how he's acting and reevaluate, now that we know what we know, his body movements and things like that.
Jen, go ahead and tell us what's going on with Maddie.
Well, Monday morning, we took her to school. We dropped her off close to school, across the street from a church, which is it's right next to the school.
So again, she's saying we, like, there's only so much grace that can be given to this woman without us saying, all right now, bitch, like, for real. Like, I mean, even the cop that is doing the interview from the docket that we're listening to is like, for real, bitch. And we're going back to the we took her to school, we dropped her off. Why are you lying? If I didn't go, if my child's missing, I didn't go to school, I didn't see her that morning, I didn't drop her off, I'm gonna say no, I didn't see what she was wearing. I know what she laid out the night before, and I'm assuming that's what she's wearing, but I did not see her that morning. I did not take her to school that morning, because you want the cops to take every bit of evidence they can to find your child, and sitting there lying about it ain't doing a damn thing to help them find the damn child nowhere.
She crossed the street and walked to school, what we thought walked to school. My boyfriend who drove her to school drove away at that point. It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it that walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it to school after that. It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it.
And that was the last anyone's seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Have you heard from like any of her friends? Has she been active on any social media?
She hasn't been active on social media, none of her chats, none of her games. We did contact all her friends. None of them had seen her Monday or heard from her. Yeah, there's no update.
And I have to ask this, and I know I hate doing it, but is she the type that would run away? Has this happened in the past or anything? Has she ever threatened to?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before, and she's not the type to want to do this. She did accidentally leave her phone on Monday, which is kind of normal for her. She's got ADHD and very forgetful. So she left.
Okay, so we're listening because the police just asked Jen Soto in the interview we're doing that the Docket have, and we'll go right back to that. But the police asked Jen Soto in that, do you remember saying you did not want Madeline to come home in your Fox 35 interview? So we're reviewing this to see if we can find where she says that. Because he tells her maybe look it up on Google. I don't know, but he's saying you said that. So this says it's the full interview. We're going to see if we hear her say that.
She left her phone at home, so there's no way to trace her. They tried tracing her school laptop, but that's off, so it's not pinging to anything.
Jen, what is your fear? I know you mentioned she's on games and stuff. Do you think she could have like met somebody and tried to meet up with them?
She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone, and she told us she had a crush on someone at school. And I looked at their messages. Nothing was weird. I looked at all of her.
Now, I just saw Mr. Stearns here kind of move back and forth. That looked like he got uncomfortable in his seat. If you've been on my channel, you know I think that's the motive. The fact that she had a crush on a little boy and was talking to him, and Stephen Stearns, judging by some of the things that she drew in her journal and all of the pictures and things, I think he was I think he was jealous, and he was worried about the things she would try to say and do with this little boy, thinking that it was normal. So for whatever stupid reason, he went ahead and did what he did. I mean, I'm guessing it'd have to be a fit of rage or jealousy, because if you think about like the time he would have got for what he was doing versus the time he got for murdering her, I mean, they're different times, and eventually, unfortunately, this motherfucker would have got out eventually off of what he was doing to her and had to register and all that. But he wouldn't be looking at the death penalty, even though, in my opinion, he should be. That's, going by the court system, he wouldn't have been looking at the death penalty for what he was doing to her, unfortunately. But then when he committed murder, yeah.
Her messages, all of her deleted messages, nothing seemed weird. It didn't seem like she was talking to anyone. So I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she may have been taken, because this is not like her at all, to just disappear and not let us know where she's going or who she's with. Yeah.
What are you getting from law enforcement? Are they actively searching for her? I mean, what happens now? I mean, especially that she doesn't have her phone with her.
So as far as I know, they're conducting a search around the school, behind the school. There's a Shingle Creek. There's a wooded path area that you could walk. It's a hiking path. They are going back there with their canine dogs. They've taken a piece of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent. They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day on that trail sending us photos to see if anything there looks familiar and like her personal belongings, and nothing is hers. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm just contacting.
I don't remember all of this being said in the beginning. So maybe this is stuff they've released since we have found out what happened to her. 'Cause I don't remember all this in the beginning, although it's been, 7 months almost. So I don't know. I could be just misremembering.
The news to get the word out, to get some help, because I'm desperate. I'm a wreck right now.
So you think that she's been taken against her will?
I do think so, yes.
As a mom, what's your mother's intuition telling you right now?
I'm trying to hope for the best, but I'm scared for her. I want her to be okay, and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed.
That looks fake to me. I'm going to try to just play it so we can see her reaction. And I think that was it right there. Hold on.
I want her to be okay, and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back, whatever that means.
Okay, so I think that we're going to listen to the rest of it, but I think that's what he refers to. But she's saying, I don't want her to come back harmed. So I think that he maybe misinterpreted that. I don't know. Even if the child was harmed, I would want her to come back. But I think she's misspeaking, saying, I'm hoping nobody hurts her, but she said it as in, I don't want her to come back harmed. I don't know, but that's probably what he's referring to. I'm gonna play it one more.
I just want her back.
Are you getting any updates from?
I just want her back, whatever that means. I just want her back. I want her to be okay.
You right now.
So let's listen to it one more time.
I'm trying to hope for the best, but I'm scared for her. I want her to be okay, and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back, whatever that means. I just want her back.
Are you getting any updates from law enforcement? I mean, yes, they're searching that small area, but have they gotten any hits on any scent or anything like that?
They haven't let me know anything. They haven't updated me since I spoke to them this morning. I've contacted them to get some information or to give them some leads, but I've heard nothing back.
And Jen, there's no way that she, just being, a teenager, was maybe had a fight with you or an argument with you and was like, you know what, I'm going to go hang out at so-and-so's house and teach her a lesson. Could that be a scenario?
I don't believe so. We actually haven't gotten into a fight in a few weeks, or arguments or anything like that. If anything, on Sunday, she celebrated her 13th birthday with my entire family, and she had the best day. She was so happy. She showed us all her gifts. She's just a happy girl, and she showed it on Sunday night when she went to bed. She was so happy. So, she had the best day. I just, there was no moment in that evening from when she got home from the party that she had her phone or had the laptop. She went straight to getting ready and went to bed. So I know she didn't have any conversations with anyone. She didn't make plans with anyone. I didn't see any of that.
So she's spent the whole Sunday celebrating her 13th birthday. Was her 13th birthday on that Sunday, or that was just the time you guys were celebrating?
That was the time we were celebrating. Her birthday was on Thursday, the 22nd.
Okay.
She just
So
turned 13.
but that's just so heartbreaking to be celebrating her 13th birthday and then the very next day,
She's
that's the
gone.
last you've seen of her.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you go now? Are you gonna go out there and search or look, or what is are you sticking by the phone? Are you know, what are you doing?
I'm staying at home, staying by the phone, hoping she just appears. I know my entire family is out looking. They've all spread a bunch of flyers. I've had people contact me that they've gone to the international airport to spread flyers, to Amtrak, to Greyhound, just any way that if someone's taken her and they're trying to take her, just to show her face, just to make sure, she's not being taken against her will.
And you mentioned ADHD. Was there anything else maybe mentally on or that you knew of?
She does suffer from anxiety, and once upon a time she was diagnosed with autism. We had her what's the word?
Brained, maybe?
Reevaluated.
Okay.
We had her reevaluated a few months ago, actually, and they told us no, she didn't have autism, but she did have some autistic traits. She did have ADHD, some autistic traits, but not autism. So I'm not sure where to leave with that, because one doctor said she did and one doctor saying she doesn't, and I don't know. She's just in the middle, I guess, because she does have some tendencies, but socially she's pretty great. So I'm not sure.
And
I want to play this all the way to the end just to make sure that we don't miss her directly saying that she doesn't want her to come back. But I think that's what he was talking about. Where she said, I don't want her to come back hurt.
with the video that you were able to see whenever your boyfriend dropped her off, where was that? Which video? Was that a surveillance camera?
It was a surveillance camera from the church, Peace Church, right next to Hunters Creek Middle School.
And do you have that video?
I don't have that. They didn't show me. They wouldn't show me. It was actually my sister was the one at location, and they were letting her know what they saw on camera.
Okay.
But they didn't show it to any of us.
Got it. Okay. Jen, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Please, 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 if you have any information, contact me, contact law enforcement. Any information helps. Maddie, if you see this, please come home. Please be safe. I love you very much. If you have my Maddie, please just let her come home. We just want her home.
Okay, so that was all for that. I'm going to go back to the docket, and we can continue listening to his interview that he got. So yeah, I definitely think that the officer was referring to where she said, I don't want her to come back hurt.
And if you remember, that was one of the reasons why their sex life went south. There was a couple other excuses that she used too, but this was one of them.
I think her name is Marielle, but I'm not sure what her name is. What her last name would be.
Okay. Now, the relationship that you had with Stefan, you told me that you haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah.
When you guys were together and intimate with each other, is maybe a little uncomfortable, but something that we have to discuss is when you guys were intimate with each other.
If your man is with you, and I mean, I guess they were broken up, so maybe it would have been normal for them not to be doing that, but I don't know. I guess I'm gonna leave that right there, because
a lot of people call it vanilla sex.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it, whatever kind of sex you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe you and Stefan when you guys were intimate?
Pretty vanilla. I would say just missionary and oral, but nothing more than that. Missionary.
Okay. Has he ever asked you to perform a certain way, or? Anything that you think would be out of the ordinary?
He's, I want to say he's joked around about wanting anal sex, and like, yeah, we should do that. We should try that. And I'm like, absolutely not. No,
That baby.
me, his penis is average size but thick, and it hurts. So I don't want even normal sex hurt to me. So I just didn't want to do it anymore, honestly.
Okay. Nothing other than that you think would be out of the ordinary?
No.
That's really hard to hear.
Okay. All right. So he is on medication. You told me he's on medication for insomnia. Can you say that right? Sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And then I believe you said ADHD.
Yeah. And also anxiety meds, I think.
Anxiety. Okay. Anything else that you can think of?
So with him being on medication for insomnia, I wonder if that's what he was giving her, because she talks about taking a medication that was too big that one night. And I'm thinking that the insomnia medication, probably trazodone or something to that effect, is what he had. I've taken trazodone before, and it'll have you in like a sleep paralysis state. And I'm wondering if that's what he was giving her, Madeline.
He did have, I think, a vial of, I'm not sure if it was Viagra or Cialis, but one or the other. I know he was having a hard
God, that's hard to hear.
time getting an erection or being able to enjoy getting off.
There's so many things I want to say here, but I'm going to be careful. I have to be careful, but I will say this. I don't think he had any kind of trouble getting an erection. I think he just wasn't attracted to Jen and the people that whoever he was attracted to. I think that was the issue with that, which is very fucking sick. And I'm going to just leave that there because I don't want to go into that or even think about it.
And he ended up figuring out we couldn't figure out. He went to the doctors, tried to figure out why he was having these issues. They told him it must be something mental because physically his body.
See, I mean, he wasn't attracted to Jen, so it didn't work.
Fine, should be acting normal.
Okay.
But we found out
I think, I've said before, I don't think he ever got with Jennifer to be with Jennifer. And again, I'm going to leave that at that.
It was a side effect due to the Adderall medication he was on, that he was not able to enjoy himself sexually once he got off Adderall for a while and was able to enjoy himself again. I think there was no need for the Cialis or anything like that.
Okay. Would he ever talk to you about what kind of porn he liked watching or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Have you ever, quote unquote, watched porn with him or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, Maddie, what medication did she take?
She was on hydroxyzine, which is a sleeping medication and anxiety medication. So that.
I wonder why she was having trouble sleeping and having anxiety issues.
Because she suffers from really bad GI issues. She's constantly constipated. What else?
My God. This is hard. There was so many signs that Jennifer did not pick up on. That's another one, what she just said.
What else? She had an asthma inhaler. She had an asthma inhaler. I can't think of any other meds she was on.
Does she take that medicine to school with her?
The asthma.
I don't know if Jennifer knew where Maddie was or what was going on at the time. I don't know if if she's aware of what was supposed what was happening and that Madeline was deceased at this point. I'm not sure if Jennifer knows or if just the police know. I'm hoping that maybe by the end of this interview we'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm not going to be able to get through all of this today. I'm going to try to play some of the interview with his parents as well, and then we'll come back and finish out both of those interviews.
The asthma medication, yes. The asthma medication, yes. The Adderall I give to her before she goes to school, and the anxiety meds we give it to her when she's at home.
How does she react to this medicine?
Normal.
Like, how does her body react?
Fine.
Okay.
No side effects. No, nothing weird.
Okay. And she takes it in the morning or at night?
Adderall she'll take in the morning. Hydroxyzine, the sleeping meds, or the anxiety meds, either or. Probably in the afternoon or evening time, close to bed. We use it mostly for sleep aid. That would be given to her at night. The asthma medication was used, and the GI medication was given.
Okay. And then medication that you take.
Me?
Yeah.
I take Ziprazidone, which is brand name is Geodon.
This is the vampire.
For bipolar medication. I take anxiety medication, lorazepam, methimazole, which is a thyroid medication. I'm also prescribed medical marijuana in capsule form and flower form. And then a vitamin D medication, a really high dose of vitamin D I have to, because I had gastric sleeve surgery a few years ago, so I'm vitamin deficient. So they give me some high doses of medications to keep my vitamins balanced. I think that's it.
Okay. All right. So going back to the morning that Stefan takes her to school, you said you think it's around 8 o'clock when you physically see Stefan messing with the dog?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't see Maddie anywhere?
I don't.
Okay. When Maddie...
Okay, so Plunder just said that this interview takes place after Stearns was arrested. So if she knew what had supposedly happened, then this is even more bothersome. But there's a part I heard where I don't know if she knew or not. So we're going to keep listening.
Maddie gets dressed for school. Like, now that I've seen the inside of the house, it looks like a majority of her clothes are in that little partitioned area in the living room.
Yeah.
Does she have clothes anywhere else? Like, where would she put clothes to wear to school the next day?
Okay. Where would she get dressed? She would get dressed in her bedroom right there, that little nook in the living room. All her clothes are there. When she takes off her clothes, her dirty laundry hamper is typically in my bathroom downstairs, and she'll just dump it in the basket. But there is no basket there right now. She's been dumping everything on the floor. I think the basket is currently being used with clean clothes. So I just wanted to keep the clean clothes and dirty clothes separated. So dirty clothes are on the floor right now. What's in the basket should be like half clean, half dirty clothes, I think.
Okay. When you...
Yes, this is February the 29th. So she hasn't been found yet. So this interview is before she's been found. The second interview, this interview is 40 minutes long. The second interview is almost an hour and a half long. Or no, I'm sorry. The first interview is almost an hour and a half long. The second interview is 40 minutes long. It's conducted on 3/1. It's on the ticker, the dates. I didn't put the times, but the dates are there. If you miss it and you need to see what the dates are.
You go to sleep when you were sleeping that night. Was your door open or shut?
It is left cracked open.
Cracked open. Okay. Would you see or hear Maddie going to get changed?
I would say yes, but if I weren't deep asleep, and I think I was deep asleep because I didn't hear anything until Stefan came and woke me up to try to get the dog.
Okay, so he woke you up to help with the dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't hear tussling around or wrestling around in the kitchen that made you wake up to go help?
No. It was him. He came directly into my room and grabbed the dog. And I got up. I shot up to try to help him.
Why mention it, Tori? Why mention it? If you want to stay out of it, then I wouldn't mention it. I mean, it's simple.
It was until later that after that is when I heard rustling in the kitchen.
I don't know why she's mentioning things that she didn't see either. I would only be telling things that I saw personally with my own eyes.
Okay. So he takes the dog out, took a potty or whatever it may be, and he comes back inside. Do you see him when he comes back inside?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember him leaving, saying bye to you or anything like that when he's taking Maddie to?
Like yes, you do remember if you saw him or not. Did you see him come back in the house or not? Simple fucking question. Answer. I mean, you either did or you didn't. How do you not fucking remember the day that your daughter goes missing? Any other parent would be remembering every single second of the day. What the hell?
To school.
I don't think so. I think at this point I was already back deep asleep.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when he went to walk the dog and left, I fell right back asleep immediately.
Okay. Now you go back to sleep. You wake up because you have a doctor appointment to go get blood drawn or something like that.
Yeah.
And you told me your appointment was around 10 or something like that, 9, 10?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I think it was 10:15.
Can be accurate about that, but not if we saw our daughter that morning, if you saw Stephen Stearns come back in, none of that, but we can be accurate about the appointment. Okay, I got it. And Jenny, she irks my soul too.
Yes, it was at 10:15.
Okay. So you go to this appointment, and on your way back, did you talk to Stefan on the phone at all?
Long to remember. Either you remember or you don't. I don't understand this shit. Like, let me pretend to remember. Let me take a second so I can act like I'm trying to remember something. That's what this is screaming to me. Like, kids will do that. If you notice, like, you ask them, did you clean your room? They'll pause for a minute and say, yeah. Like, as in a question, and they're lying. The hell?
I know I talked to him while I was in the parking lot waiting for my blood work to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't recall if I called him on my way home as well. It would seem like I would do that, but I just can't 100% tell you if I did do that or not.
Okay. At what time did you and him meet back up here?
All right. Okay.
So I got back from my blood work appointment anytime between, I'll say 11:15, 11:30, so sometime around that time.
And was he already here?
Yes.
Okay. What did you guys talk about when you got home?
What happened this morning?
What did you say? What happened this morning?
He's like, we had a good morning. We made really good time. Maddie got.
So I'm trying to speak a little bit so we can get through more of it, because unfortunately it is Saturday and I've got a lot to do. So I'm going to have to go. But I do want to try to get through a little bit more of this, and then maybe play a little bit of Stephen Stern's parents interview, because that's on my thumbnail. So I need to make sure to do that as well.
We got ready super quick. We were out the door super quickly. I was super impressed with our time. I tried convincing Maddie to go have McDonald's breakfast a few times, but she changed her mind and decided she didn't want to. She just wanted to sleep in the car. And the thing is, the night before, we had discussed, oh, Maddie, maybe he should leave a little bit earlier than normal so that you can go get breakfast with him at McDonald's. That would be a really cool day to start a Monday right after your birthday, having McDonald's at breakfast. And she's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So they were supposed to have gone to McDonald's, but he told me they didn't. He told me he had left his phone because I
can understand it, but he may not be able to.
What else did he talk to me about?
I will tell you all, gang, you're going to hear things that could be very triggering. That could be.
I'm gonna leave that, like I said, because I got a lot of stuff. So, a bit of the interview with Stephen Stern's parents, and we will pick right back up where we left off on the Docket's interview tomorrow. And we'll probably finish out this interview because I think it's like a 45-minute interview. So let me get this sharing. So this is just audio. It's not the video.
I may fix a cup of coffee. Always thirsty these days. Lucy, we're both on diets. We're taking.
So that is Stephen Stern's parents, and yeah, this is an hour and 43 minutes. So we'll play part of it, and I'll try to finish these interviews out over the next couple of days, giving my commentary of what's going on. But as you can see with me pulling this up, I mean, I try my best to get everything that I can. I'm not a big enough channel yet to be spending money to try to pull records and things. Eventually I will be. Hopefully I will be able to put money into this channel when I get a big enough following.
She's taking Ozempic. I'm taking Manjaro. And I've lost nearly 40 pounds.
Wow.
28. And but I just have to keep hydrated all the time. I just always thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for meeting with us this morning.
Our pleasure.
This has been a long few days, long week, and I can imagine what it is for you guys.
Full of lots of surprises.
Yeah.
We're in the 7th ring of hell.
So the reason we made the trip down here today is I know you spoke to Alex, I think.
Yeah, Alex,
yeah, with Orange County, and may have spoke to Corporal Ilgen that works with us.
Is he this tall, slim guy?
No,
Was
he's
he at Orange County?
I think you may have talked to him out in the parking lot in
Yeah.
Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah, bald guy, probably wearing a sweatshirt.
No, that didn't work. That didn't. There was somebody else I thought was from Kissimmee PD, but and I thought actually you were him, but obviously not.
So
you're gonna look at you.
I appreciate it. But since I'm the lead detective and he's my partner in the case, we kind of want to get eyes and talk to everybody that's involved. That's the only reason. So the reason we're here is basically try to get a background of what you know about Stefan and Jennifer's relationship and that sort of thing and stuff like that. So we can do it one of two ways. I can just give you guys a floor and you can let us know what their dynamic was, or I can do it question and answer wise, whatever's more comfortable for you.
Well, if you do it question and answer wise, you'll get the answers that you wanted. If you let us sit here and ramble on for half an hour, you may not get what you want. You still have to ask the question.
Fair enough for me.
We can fill in the gaps.
Yes.
All right. So any idea how long Stefan and Jen have been in a relationship?
7 years.
7 years.
7 to 8 years, somewhere there.
Okay. And was it constant throughout those 7 and 8 years, or on and off, or?
They were friends first.
I've been in a relationship for 8 years now, and like going back to the sex life thing, like most of the time that doesn't just stop over time. Like, you know, my sex life is great, never had any issues, even 8 years, you know, into the relationship, it's still happening at least twice a week. So, you know, I just think, and I'm not trying to put my personal information out there, but like, these are all signs that people should pay more attention to, I think. Now, just because your partner may not be attracted to you and have trouble getting things up after 8 years, does that mean necessarily that the things that were happening to Madeline are happening? Hell no. No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But if you take that and couple it with another thing, like the fact that Madeline was constipated and was on anxiety medications and all of that, I mean, you put the pieces together, it builds the bigger picture. You know, that was one small piece of this puzzle that if maybe she had put it together, or, you know, worked on noticing the other things and put all the pieces together, she might would have picked up on it if she hadn't.
Close friends first, and then it evolved into a romantic relationship. I think probably the first 18 months was just friendship, and then it changed from there. And no, we did not like the relationship.
Why not?
Didn't approve of it.
No.
Why
She was
is
a
that?
bad influence on it because of her
drugs.
Well, drugs plus I think she was taking medications for depression, anxiety, what have you, and I just didn't feel that she was going to be a good influence for him.
She's bipolar. She's bisexual. She's a drug addict. She had a young child. The family was disapproving, and
She's bisexual. She had a young child, is what they just said, and she's on drugs, is what they're saying about Jennifer Soto.
she was sharing those drugs with Stefan. And I don't approve of vaping. We don't do any drugs. We don't even drink. I can't even take specified medication for pain because
She was sharing her drugs with Stefan. They were vaping. So basically, Stefan and Jen were smoking weed together.
my body rejects them, and I get really, really sick from them. So, I mean, went through open heart surgery on Tylenol.
Wow.
So it's
And they were both
she's nice.
they slept all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, we had a hard enough time dealing with Stefan sleeping all the time, and now he's got a relationship with somebody else that does it as well. It's like they were feeding off of each other, and none of it in a positive way. And that's why I disapprove of a lot of Stefan's
That's the only
people.
thing. Yeah, only thing her mother and I approved of together was the fact that we didn't approve of the relationship, because if Jim started spiraling down one of her holes of depression, she took Stefan with him. If he was depressed, he brought her in, and it was just always like a balancing act with those two. This is not good. It's not a good dynamic.
You know, when you said they were,
So she just said that Jen's mother didn't approve of the relationship either and felt the same way about it that they do, that they fed off of each other and basically brought each other down. So again, I have to ask, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand how she's playing off like she didn't know.
they were always sleeping like constantly.
Yeah.
Were they taking medicine to go sleeping, or they were just?
They were faked out.
Yeah. Well, Stefan has a sleeping disorder, sleep apnea, so he's been tested for it, and his he would be up all night and sleep all day,
Okay.
type of deal. And we really didn't have.
Look, let me tell you something. I like to stay up late at night and sleep during the day sometimes. But once you have kids, you have shit to do, like a job or whatever during the day. That shit stops real quick. When you do things to get worn out during the day, usually you go to bed at night and you don't sleep all day. You get back on a normal schedule. But you have to get up and go do things, go outside, go work a job or whatever. You have to get your body worn out during the day. So at night when you lay down, you go straight to bed and then you get up in the morning. And once you do that for a couple of days, your body will be used to that routine. And you won't be sleeping all night and staying or I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You won't be sleeping all day and staying up all night anymore because you're tired. You have no problem falling asleep. That's just a mixed up schedule. In my
That much physical interaction with them.
Mhm.
These are things that we just observed from a distance, and trying to talk to Stefan at times, but we just really didn't have any social activity with him to speak of.
When Stefan would be here in town, like what would his routine be? Would he is he a homebody or?
He locked himself in his room, and we would see him maybe once in a while till dinner's ready, but he was constantly in his room all the time.
He was painting his little minis for Warhammer.
Right.
He spent a lot of time doing that. A lot of time learning the new books as they came out. A lot of time online. He did go play Warhammer with the guys once a week. Tried to get him to go to the beach. Tried to get him to go to church. Tried to get him to go shooting with us. No.
Did he give an excuse why he wouldn't want to
Feel
go?
like it.
Just no motivation.
And he walked around with Jen on the phone on FaceTime all the time. I would be in the kitchen. I would look up and I would see Jen, and she's like, "Oh," and I look at her and her eyes are open. I said, "Jen, are you baked?" And she says, "Oh yeah."
And this is
What the
recently
hell?
or throughout
that
the
was in
years?
the last few weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't. I brought him back in December because I was supporting him living there, and I didn't know that I was supporting the whole family.
Mhm.
Again, Stefan's great at omitting information, not being transparent with me, and I just reached the point. I said, I can't afford to have you working for Disney,
Mhm.
and there's always a deficit in his budget for one reason or another. But somehow he had expensive toys and what have you. And where the money came for that, he didn't even after he arrived here. Packages were arriving. I said, well, I'm not giving him any money. Where the hell is it? Stefan, it's money I saved that I'm sitting here going. Bohica. You know what Bohica is? It's an acronym. Bend over, here it comes again.
Mhm.
And he called me up and said, well, I'm short in funds. Can you Zelle me $150? Send him that. But meanwhile, now he's telling me he's got money in savings, which I didn't believe.
Mhm.
So where the money was coming from, I have no idea. But these packages just kept arriving.
When you would support him, how would you get him?
That's interesting. It involves and what it entails. I've wondered if he was selling pictures online, and I'm going to leave that at that.
I sell it.
Okay.
And I paid him, Juan charged Jen rent, and then in November of 2022, the reason why I know that because I looked it up the other day. I said, how far back have I been paying rent there? But he started charging Stefan rent, even though he was sharing a room with Jen.
Mhm.
And then they decided that they weren't going to be in a relationship anymore, and he took over a full room, and now I had to pay $600. And so this just kept escalating. He wasn't taking care of his car. Waiting for that shoe to drop. So finally, I just
Look, let me tell you something. my mama, I love my mama, and she loves me. Okay, but she told me when I was 17 years old, get the out of my house, and I have been on my own since then. And it's been a hard, long road, and I'm still suffering to this day. But I'm in a relationship. I have a wonderful family. I have a roof over my head, so I'm grateful. But let me tell you something. Let me ask my mama, my daddy, somebody. My daddy's no longer here, but let me ask one of them pay my rent. Nope, nope. You better figure it out. You better go get a job. You better figure it the fuck out. Like, no, I people sometimes people take advantage of that shit, and sometimes people don't realize what they have till it's gone. Like the fact that your parents will help you with things like that, and then you take advantage of it or don't really appreciate how much stuff like that helps. And it bothers me. I get frustrated when I see people taking advantage, and there's nothing I can do, so I kind of just keep it moving. But it just frustrates me because I, in particular, have had it so hard in life by my own decision. Don't get it twisted. I made my own decisions and put myself exactly where I ended up. But it just sucks. I wish sometimes people would realize what they have, especially if you have somebody that's going to help you. Don't ever take it for granted. Understand what you have and be fully appreciative, and let the other person know how much you appreciate it.
I said, I can't afford you to live there anymore, and I moved him back here. And I thought, we had hoped that the year that he had spent at Disney, that he had matured and was now, accepting responsibility and had a disciplined routine, that I could bring him back here and help him maybe develop into something with a better career path than working for Disney forever and not get anywhere, because at $30,000 a year, he couldn't support himself if he wanted to live on his own.
Right.
And that turned out to be a huge disappointment, because he fell right back into his same MO. Locked himself in his room, wouldn't help us around the house. And we were like on eggshells, because when he was here, it was always tension because of his sleep disorder, and the dogs obviously are not the quietest things in the world. And they have their routine, we have our routine, so we let them out in the evening, and it's chaos with them. We let them out in the morning, it's chaos. But for the most of the time, they're feeding time, they're quiet. But again, that would disturb him, and didn't want to cause a flare up with them.
I mean, but you're living in your parents' house. That's their animals. Excuse me, sir, but at some point you have to just get used to it. It sounds like the dog slept at night, so maybe you should took your ass to bed at night and got your ass up in the morning. I mean, problem fucking solved. You can't complain when your parents are taking care of you. People, God, that shit irks me.
So when it would disturb him with the dogs, was that during the daytime, or was him trying to sleep at night?
Oh, it could be any time.
Oh, okay.
If anybody comes to the door, get a package, a rat farts in the yard, doesn't matter, they hear it.
So if he's sleeping during the day and we're doing our daily routine, there's going to be a distraction. If I come in the house and go, hey, I'm home, they'd be alarmed.
Right.
So, but I would just hope that he was soundly sleeping, and that he would just sleep through it. But occasionally you would hear a bark out from him.
Or if he had his headphones on.
Yeah.
So when you said you brought him back in December, do you remember when? First part of December, end of
I'd have to
December?
look up. It'd be early part of December, because I was trying to get him out of there. I thought it was the end of November. It could have been at the very end of November or the very first part of December, because I didn't want to owe Juan another month's rent. I wanted him out of there.
But did he mention if they were split up at that time, or if they were still?
Well, they were supposed to be officially broken up.
Did he ever say why they broke up?
They just, yes and no. I mean, Jen told me as recently as last week, she didn't want him as a partner. She realized that he was not going to be a good partner, but I assume that they both recognized that they wanted to go their separate ways. And I would say that occurred several months before, because there was one time he mentioned he was socializing with somebody at Disney, and that didn't go over well or something. She didn't like that. So
I told him, we both told him he would never get into a healthy relationship until he got away from her, because what are you going to do? You're renting a room, you're going to bring a new woman into your room with your ex in the next room? I mean, that's
don't make sense.
Did this ever happen within the last 7 years? Did they break up and get back together and that sort of thing? Or
I seem to recollect that there might have been a pause in that relationship, maybe to the extent of how involved the relationship was, and maybe it became more social than more of a relationship type of thing. But again, clueless as to exactly the extent of how involved the relationship really was. I mean, I always thought it was just good friends and sex with benefit type of thing. But I don't know how committed they were to one another.
And that was going on all the way up until December.
Well, actually, before December, because like I said, when he went into the room on his own, that basically was probably the time that the relationship ended. So,
do you remember when that was? You said November?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. Let's see. He left in December, maybe 3 or 4 months before he pulled out of there. I think only played 3 or 4 months at 600, maybe 3 months. I'd have to look it up.
Do you know if when he came back here in December, was he ever making trips back to Kissimmee at all?
There was, I think, 3 occasions he went back. This last trip, with when all this stuff happened, a trip before that, and then he went back for Thanksgiving, or he was there for Thanksgiving. So
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, so he wasn't invited to the family events, and but he was there at that time.
Okay.
Why wasn't he invited?
I'm assuming just visiting Jen, or was he visiting other people?
He was visiting Jen.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who else he would be associated with at that time.
Okay.
I don't think he had any relationships outside of Jen. Maybe I think there was a time or two he mentioned that he was going to go out with some cast members after work. But
Bear was one of them.
yeah, but that's the only time.
Has he ever lived in Kissimmee prior to meeting Jen?
No.
Okay. Always here in Northport, or has he lived elsewhere?
Well, we moved here in May of 2020, so he was always at our home there, or he lived here then.
Okay.
We finally got him out of here, and there was an opportunity for him to go live in Kissimmee.
But with Jen is when he went to Kissimmee.
Yeah. Not on his own.
They were both supposed to be working at Disney together, but she can't keep a job
Do you know why?
because of the bipolar.
Well,
And she doesn't want to lose her state benefits.
but depending on the type of work, she had back issues or something, so she couldn't do physical things. And now she did have a job as a concierge that didn't require any pressure or stress on her back or something. But there was always something that prevented her from working. Couldn't do dog sitting or whatever job it was. It would last no more than 2 weeks, and then she'd be.
Wow, that is some insight on Jennifer Soto right there. But
And she was going to go to school for nursing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, save the world.
Well, then she was going to get into graphic design.
Oh yeah.
Dad bought her an Apple computer, thinking she was going to take these classes or online.
these are all also signs of bipolar, where you see something and you get really into it and think you're going to be able to do it, and then you just stop. That's a sign of bipolar.
That's not either.
And you're hearing this from
her.
Stefan? Oh, from both of them. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other thing that we're basically telling you is a lot of it's hearsay from what we were told. We didn't physically observe this, any of this stuff. Very, very little interaction with them. When they were here.
So notice he's saying a lot of this hearsay. He used to be on the police force before he got into real estate and things. Stephen Stern's dad here.
They were either in Stefan's room. Maddie always slept with Debbie, but Maddie floated around here, played with the dogs, did things that little girls do. What have you?
We did some arts and crafts together.
You were teaching her knitting?
Crocheting.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my next question. So Jen and Maddie and Stefan came here to visit at some point, or a few times maybe.
Yeah. But if he was here, living here, she would actually come down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, very few trips. The last trip we saw of them was we didn't see, I think we saw them early 2023, and then maybe for Thanksgiving 2022.
Okay. And then when they were here, you said Stefan and Jen would sleep in or would hang out in Stefan's room, and then Maddie would sleep with you, be with you. Okay. Why is that?
Number one, he's a slob. Number two, he only has a queen size bed.
Okay.
And number three, I didn't think it was a healthy environment. Like, they were going to have her sleeping on the floor, on a sleeping bag. And I said, I have a king size bed. I sleep on 36 inches of it. There's a whole side of a bed. Why can't she be comfortable? So I just insisted that she come in with me, and I had the dogs with me. So if she got up, what Jen used to tell me was, she would wake up in the middle of the night, she'd come and climb in bed with them. I said, well, you're gonna have the dogs here. If you get out of bed, you're gonna rouse the dogs up.
I got you.
I'm glad to know and at least on those nights she was safe.
They ever talk about their sleeping arrangements at their house in Kissimmee?
Just what I just told you. That if she had a bad dream or something, she would come in, and I told her, as Maddie got older, because we've known Maddie for 7 years, we watched her grow up. I mean, this is very hard. But she sweet girl she was, but then she started, in the last year, she started showing signs of bipolar as well. And Jen was horrified by that. They were butting heads like two rams.
Bipolar can be passed down through genetics, but usually you're not put on medication for bipolar as a child. You're usually about 18 when you start bipolar medication, unless your bipolar is like really, really bad. I have to contribute it more to what was going on with her. And she was old enough to start realizing that it wasn't right and start breaking out of the cycle of manipulation that Stephen Stearns had her in. And that's probably why all of that was happening, in my opinion.
They were fighting all the time, and they're presenting a very different family dynamic than what they told us was going on.
And you witnessed them butting heads, or?
No, I would be on the phone with Steph, and I would hear them going at each other in the background. But that's, And I would say, what's going on? Well, Maddie and Jenny are at it again, you know, and I gotta go break this up. So he would go be the peacekeeper. But I just put that down to puberty. She went to puberty, she started puberty at 11.
Right.
I got two right now going through puberty, and trust and believe they get an attitude real quick and get snappy and ill. But my household has always been real strict. They know the rules, they know the punishments, they know, you know, they have chores they do. So while they do get, you know, I give them lenience because I understand that it's hormones, they can't control it, and you know, the snappiness and stuff. I'll tell them real quick. I'll be like, hey, I don't know what you got going on. I don't know if you need to take a second because you're getting a little snappy and I don't want you to get in trouble. So if you need to take a minute to yourself to just calm down or whatever, please do so. So I do know about the puberty stuff.
Anyhow, she developed quickly, became pretty precocious, and other than that, I don't think she had a lot of friends at school. I don't think that she was a very social person. She had been, if you remember,
I think she was depressed, probably just internally devastated. Poor child. And that's probably why she didn't talk to nobody.
and Jim both told us that after she began developing
That's
physically, that there were some boys at school last year that would push her up against the wall and grab a feel and bully her. And they were having a hard time with the school getting it stopped.
But anyway, when they visited here, she was either out here or they were watching movies together. But when it came to sleeping time, she was definitely in Deb's room.
Okay. Any time where either Jen and Maddie would be sleeping in that room without Stefan, or okay, so the only person that would separate from them would be Maddie when she was sleeping with you.
And like I say, she was always floating around because she was bored.
And before that, as you see the holes, we had a TV there. We didn't have one in my room that was big, very big, but we moved that one. So I would sit out here with Maddie when they were in there, and we'd watch TV together too. We even got the Disney Channel for us, so she'd have it.
Do you know if Maddie or Jen, when they were sleeping here, did they take medicine at night or anything like that you know of?
No,
Or did Stefan take any? Has he been prescribed any medication?
he has been prescribed an anti-anxiety medication and a ADHD medication. He's got Adderall and something clomidine, some for sleeping. I don't know what the first part of it is, but
Really didn't know his medical routines at all, hers or Jen's, other than the fact that
if it's trazodone, like I said, I took trazodone once for about a week. That shit is no joke. Like every single night sleep paralysis to the point that I could not wake myself up. And when I would finally wake up, it'd be in a straight panic attack. That shit's no joke. And if it was trazodone, I wonder if he was giving that to her, to Madeline. Because if he did give that to Madeline and did what we know he did, she would wonder if it was a dream or not. I don't know if she realized that it wasn't a dream or if she understood what was happening, but it's possible that he could have given that to her and she questioned whether it was some kind of weird dream for a while. I don't know. I don't know the dynamics of their relationship, nor do I want to. I want that motherfucker to fry, if I'm just being honest. But I'm just stating, trying to run down all the possibilities.
she was always changing medications.
she was, I think, taking medication for depression and anxiety and bipolar. But I don't know.
So I'm going to stop this when we get to 30, and then tomorrow when I can get on here, we will continue on with the Docket's interview with Jen Soto and this. I wanted to make sure, though, to get this in there because it's on my thumbnail, and I try to make sure that everything's on my thumbnail I go over, because I don't want somebody to see my thumbnail and then be like, well, you didn't even talk about it. I hate that shit. When that happens to me, I can't stand it. It pisses me off. I'll unsubscribe from the person and everything. So I need to make sure to put some of this in here.
I don't know anything beyond that.
She had a prescription for medical marijuana. So she vaped all the time, and she shared it with Stefan. I wouldn't allow it in my house. I don't like the smell of it. I said, if you're going to do that, you have to be outside. You can't bring it in here.
Now,
I would think you know this woman doesn't like this. I think she's made it pretty clear that she doesn't want you to do that. Smoke it in her mouth. That's just completely and utterly disrespectful.
after Stefan moved back here in December and he made the trips back to Kissimmee, would he drive the silver car? Your
No, that's
car?
the first time he ever drove.
No. he drove the silver car
Oh, that's
because
my
his
car.
car was in dire need of servicing. So I said, last thing I wanted to do is go 2 hours north and be stranded. Now I'm dealing with a disabled car. So I knew that car was up in maintenance, so I let him drive that car.
What's wrong with his car?
It's 1,000 miles over service. The brake jobs need to be done. He hasn't taken care of that car at all.
I just figured out how to get it like where I can see what I'm looking at on one side and my StreamYard's on the other. So now I can see the comments and I don't have to keep clicking back and forth, which is fantastic. You learn something new. I'm trying to learn this stuff. I'm new to all of this. So y'all stick with me. I'll learn it eventually.
At all, it's probably going to need about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of repair on it. I'm sure if I take it in, if I take it in, I'm sure it's going to be $2,000 to $3,000. AC was been acting up on it, but you know, I didn't trust it for long trips. If he was just commuting to, if he was considering commuting to Disney, that's one thing, but not long trips. Matter of fact, I had him tow it down here, not drive it down.
Got it. So is it safe to say this last time he came and then maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas is when he took the silver car, or Thanksgiving?
So this last time, then he made it. When he came down here, he made a trip. When he first got down here, he made another trip back to get more stuff.
Okay.
So that was one trip, and then there was a trip in between. I guess he went up for Christmas because I think he was here for Thanksgiving. And then there was this most recent trip. So as far as I know, I think it was just 3 trips.
Now, when he would come back from there, would he have like loads of stuff? Like, I don't want to say furniture because
It would just be leftover stuff that, you know, for whatever reason, he had a 10-foot truck and just the front end of it and all of the back was available.
So he rented a moving truck to grab it.
I rented it.
Okay.
You know, it was more truck than he needed. And why he didn't get everything he had was ridiculous because basically they came down to his typical modus operandi. He waited till the last minute and then didn't have enough time to put stuff up there or whatever, but he didn't bring everything back with him.
Imagine that.
Got it. Did he say why he didn't grab his stuff?
He didn't have to. Well, basically, if he did it, it wasn't enough. He didn't have enough time. It's like bullshit. He had weeks to plan for this. You know, I kept on him about that. He's completely opposite me. I start to organize stuff and get stuff done, not wait till the last minute, but he waited until the last minute. Very frustrating.
How long was he in Kissimmee when he made these trips?
Well, he stayed up there. If he went up there, he was up there for the day. Maybe he stayed up there a day or two.
Usually.
You know, no rush to get back. No urgency to come back.
This last time he went up here, or to Kissimmee, did he say why he was going to Kissimmee?
Her birthday.
Her birthday. Okay. Did he say he was invited to a party or anything like that? Or
I think he was asked
him to please come.
And you heard
I
Maddie call? Okay.
Yes.
And do you remember when that was? Because I know she had a party on Sunday. Do you know
Was
when
it Saturday?
I guess.
Or was it?
To make sure he was coming.
Something odd on Saturday. And I don't know if he was the invite on Saturday? Or did he just say Sunday, I'm going to Kissimmee?
No, but I knew the week before because I found the gifts for Maddie.
Okay. He seemed to be very upset. In fact, he came to me, he said, do you have any anxiety medication? I go, no, sorry, don't have anything like that. Everything I have is for diabetes or heart. And then he went to Debbie, he said, I don't have any. And then he came back and said, well, I found some 4-year-old stuff. I said, oh, okay. But he was suffering from high anxiety, man. I don't know what he was.
Now that makes me think, could she have possibly been with child? I've seen some people put that out here too. And that was one of the first things I thought as the motive. But then it moved to, well, she was talking about the crushes that she had. I don't see him being that anxious over a crush, but hell, I don't know. I mean, again, if she's talking about the things that she's drawing in her notebook with this person or whatever, it could have stressed him out, but I don't know. That's weird. That makes me wonder if she was with child.
He was stressed out about.
When was this?
Sometime in the evening. I don't know.
Oh, Saturday or
Saturday.
days prior to that?
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's making, and then I guess the medication worked, and again he looked like he was like very stressed out.
Have you ever seen him like that before?
Yes, when he was very stressed out. And it was like better tiptoe. Not sure if he's going to blow up or not. You know, he seemed like he was calm enough, but you know, I didn't know if anything could trigger him or not.
Did it seem like he was more in fear of something or scared of something or just
It was a different, other than, being really upset about something, it looked like he was stressed out over something. And obviously he never shared any of his feelings with us. And I had no idea he was stressing him out. But something really had him upset.
Angry upset, or just not that type of upset?
Not angry upset, but just something worrisome. Just seemed like there was something that was really preying on him, and it was not settling well with him.
Mm-hmm. And that's when he told you guys he was going to Kissimmee, or did he tell mom prior to that?
Well, he was making plans to go to Kissimmee, and I don't know exactly when this happened, whether he told me on Saturday, but I knew he was leaving Sunday because we talked about the expense of that trip. And he said, well, Jen's going to pay for the trip, because I was done paying for this stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, Jen's going to pay for it. I said, well, go down and fill up the car, and I'll take care of that. That would be enough gas for him to get up and get back, because that's all he was going to do. Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming that the plans were submitted on Saturday, but you're telling me that you knew about it a week in advance, and maybe he started planning that a week in advance, but I wasn't aware of it until the last minute.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't have this fearful reaction earlier that week. It was just that Saturday.
Yeah.
Did he say how long he planned on staying in Kissimmee?
A week.
A week.
Yeah. We were planning on him going to be gone for a week because we were welcoming the break.
Mm-hmm.
What did you buy her as a gift? You said you got her.
That's pretty bad with your grown ass you're leaving. Like, I hope that's, sir. I mean, it's long past time for you to get out and get a job. But I'm gonna play this until we get to 30 minutes. We're at 27:33, and then I'm gonna talk about the avenue of what if she was pregnant. We'll go down that avenue real quick, and then we'll pick up where we left off tomorrow.
Very good.
I had ordered something, and they look marvelous, but then I got it, and I think this is really probably too juvenile for me to wear. It's called Mermaid's Beads, and it's made out of sea glass, and it was a dual color bracelet, and they had the stud earrings and the same thing, and they were kind of opalescent. So they're really neat. It's by No Goo, and it's mermaid tears. But I said, these are still in the box. I've never even worn them. I said, why spend money on something? This is something she would really like, because I knew her enough to know this was something right up her alley. And I said,
that is so sweet. It sounds like his parents really cared for her.
This is $9 worth of a gift. That's just going to sit where it could be doing good someplace. Somebody could enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So just gave him the boxes and said, you want to get for Apple? He said, no, I'll just take them like this. So.
How did you guys come to hear about everything that happened on Monday?
So I tried reaching Stephen. He called me when he got to Kissimmee Sunday.
Any idea when he called you?
I know exactly because I wrote out the timeline this morning.
Okay.
6:48.
So I'm going to pause this because we're getting into where he goes through Monday morning, and we will pick back up on this interview and the Docket's interview of Jen Soto tomorrow. Now let's discuss real quick. If she was pregnant, okay, so let's say I'm trying to figure out why he did what he did. So going on the avenue of the motive was that she was talking to other boys. It doesn't, my issue with it would be, why would you get rid of her or murder her? Instead of, like, if you look at it like, okay, I'm either going to go down for what I've been doing to her since she's 8 years old, or she's got to die. Well, you're going to go down for one. Like, there's no way you're going to get away with it. So were you really, like, narcissistic enough to think you could commit a murder and just get away with it? Nobody would figure it out with forensics and DNA and all the shit we have now. Like, did you think that you could kill her and get rid of her and not be held accountable for anything? And why would you do that? Like, if you had to be held accountable for something, you're going to do less time, unfortunately, for the molestation and things you were doing to her. So why would you kill her? Okay. Because she's going to tell a boy about what's been going on and all of that. I mean, it still doesn't make sense to kill her. She's pregnant. If we go down that avenue, okay? I'm not saying she is. Let me reiterate. We're just speculating here and going over theories. If she's pregnant, they're going to find out what you've been doing to her. She's going to end up having an abortion or a baby that is yours, that you're going to go to, but you would still go to prison for a certain amount of time and then be released, unfortunately. Or kill her, and what? When they find the body, they find out she was pregnant anyway. When they find the body, you go to jail for murder. Like, I don't understand. I mean, it has to be one of the two. She was either pregnant or the crush situation. And he thought that he could get away with murdering her and not have to answer for these things because he was irrational. He's obviously not in the right mindset, but something happened out of anger, maybe? I don't know. I pray to God this child wasn't pregnant. Good God Almighty. This case is so hard. And they gave Jen partial immunity, which means they could go back and charge her later. And I hope they do, because there's, you take into account all the medication she was on and the bipolar shit, and she's sleeping all the time and smoking weed, and she might not. I don't have anything against smoking weed, but when you combine that with these bipolar medications, I was on lithium for some time, and let me tell you what, you get in a state that's not all the way there. With those mental health meds, you have to be real careful. But was she so out of it that she didn't recognize this shit and didn't know what was going on? Were you that fucked up? I don't think so. And your child's constantly constipated. Like, personally, I'm going to change the diet. Give her some stuff that's going to keep her from being constipated. And then if that doesn't work, I mean, did she even ask Maddie? Like, hey, is something going on that I need to know about? Is there a reason why you think you might be constipated? Or did she just so out of it and so doped up on all these medications that she just didn't even care and just put her on medication for constipation? Because we know why she was constipated. I'm not going to say it, but it's not hard to figure out, especially going by the Docket's interview where he was first asking Jen to do things that she didn't want to do. And if you feel like you don't understand, please go back and replay that. I don't know. I'm going to think about it over the night and we'll get back into it tomorrow. I do have to go. I got a lot of things going on today. It is Saturday and I have a family. But we will be back tomorrow to hopefully finish or at least continue going over the Docket's interview. We'll also continue the Stephen Stearns interview. I do not think there's anything else on the Kentucky manhunt. I think that is still underway. We will check for updates on that as well. Pray for me making my thumbnail because it's been an issue. So I'll try to get that up. If not, I will try to post on my community post when I will be going live to finish this. If you want to try to be here or catch a replay or something, I might just pop up. I don't know, because I don't know if I'll be able to get the thumbnail situation to work. Like, I used Pixar and I can put it on my computer, but I'm having trouble being able to do the things that I'm able to do on my phone because I'm used to using my phone. So just pay attention to my community post and see if you see a pop-up stream anywhere. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope it's the best day you've ever had. I hope you win the lottery and everything just goes your way. Not at all like yesterday for me, Friday the 13th. It surely was a Friday the 13th for me. Y'all all have a wonderful day and I will see you back tomorrow. Thank you again for being here. I'm sorry, Jenny, that I missed your comment if you're watching this. I will try. I figured out now how I can look at what I'm watching like on dual screens. So hopefully I'll have that better taken care of next time. So everybody have a good day. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow.